Hey guys, today we are looking at understanding negative numbers. So this is the beginning of chapter 4. Some of you may have encountered negative numbers before and some of you may have not, and that's totally okay because we're going to start from the very beginning. Okay, so negative numbers are always shown with a little minus sign in front of it. I would love for you to start thinking of this negative sign or the minus sign as belonging to that number. When we move into BODMAS later on in the year and we're adding and subtracting negative numbers, it's going to be much easier if you can think of that number as being negative rather than being subtracted. All right. Positive numbers will have a positive sign in front of them or no sign, which is what we're used to seeing. Okay. All whole numbers are what we call integers. So if you see that word from now on, it just means that there's no decimal or fraction component. It is just a whole number. 0 is also an integer because it is a whole number. Okay, we can represent these on a number line. So here we've got a number line from -9 all the way through to +9. Only the integers are represented. You might notice that each and every single number is evenly spaced apart. That's important moving forward when we start plotting points much later in the chapter. All right, let's today just learn to read off the number line and see if we can recognize the numbers that are larger and smaller. So we want to make each of these statements true using a less than or greater than. The first statement is 5 smaller than or larger than 8. Well, we can look at our number line if you really need. Okay, 5 here is less than 8. Okay, it's listed as a smaller number. Numbers get smaller as we move towards the negatives and larger as we move towards the positives. Okay, so that's how we decide whether a number is smaller or larger. That's a nice easy one to start. Let's now have a look at +4 and -2. Okay, so -2 is to the right, or to the left, sorry, of +4. So it's the smaller number, okay? We make sure that the pointy end goes to the small number and the big end goes to the bigger number. The fish wants to eat the bigger food. Okay, the next example, part C, -3 and -7. Now in the past I've had a lot of students tell me that -3 is smaller than -7 because they neglect to look at those negative signs in front, okay? Here you'll notice that the -7 is to the left of the -3 and therefore it is smaller, okay, or the 3 is larger. I find that talking in terms of money helps with this concept. So if you owe $3 to your mum because you wanted to buy lunch at the canteen, okay, versus you owing her $7, okay, that's less money that you'll have in future versus if you only owed her $3. All right, we'll try part D now. Just switch my color pen. Let's go red. Okay, so -4, sorry, and -4.5. That number's actually in here. Okay, so that's where -4.5 lives. Okay, which again is still smaller than -4. Okay, because you've got an extra half that's also negative. -4.5 is not here. Please be careful of that. When you're looking at negatives, everything is flipped. And finally, part E, okay, -1/2. I know I've been a little bit naughty here and I've given you numbers that aren't necessarily integers. -1/2 is here, okay, right between 0 and -1. Okay, so it's halfway between the two. And here's 0. Well, 0 is still larger than -1/2. That's really all there is to this. Okay, there's no tricks, there's nothing too difficult. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me either on Teams or via email. But we'll be moving on to adding and subtracting negative numbers very soon. Good luck with the work, guys, and keep me posted.